Bernie, I'd be interested in your comments. It was a question we had sent in. The entrance into that Australian, particularly fashion retail space from overseas over the last sort of 12 or 18 months, and certainly that looks like it's continuing. What's the particular attraction? Well, my impression would have been that Australia was a very small market for these retailers, and they're going a long way from home in projecting out that brand. What's your view on why it is that they're finding the Australian market attractive? And also, it'd be interesting to know your thoughts on the impact those retailers will have on our Australian retailers in that space.
Sure. So I think it's predicted there's going to be something like 130 more single stores built over the next 5 years, and that's H&M, Topshop, Zara, Costco. They look at the expansion of Aldi as an example, and other discounters rumoured to be coming. So it's not going to stop. I remember sort of started 10 years ago speaking at some of the international retail conferences, and I'd open and get up and say, look, Australia has more snakes, more spiders than anywhere else in the world. The sharks don't come. Unfortunately, it made absolutely no difference, and they still arrive. So, and we've now got them en masse, and I think they are very, very good world-class retailers. I mean, H&M, Zara, Topshop buy large quantities of product on an international basis and have fast supply chains and understand the global market. And I think the first change has been, if I go back sort of 10 years in fashion, we'd send a buyer to a runway in Paris or a runway in Milan. They'd see a particular dress, and then next season we'd have it in the Australian market. Today they see that same dress in the runway in Milan, and it has to be in our stores within a couple of weeks. And so we've seen the immediacy change significantly. The second change that we've seen has been the desire and need for exclusive and design-led product. I mean, I always comment on our buyers years ago going around the world, coming back to Shanghai, dropping product off and getting it copied and then putting it into our stores. That world's changed because the Zaras and the H&M do that a lot faster than us and a lot better than us, so therefore we have to design our product. And we've now got more people sketching and designing again and creating product and trying to establish a point of difference with unique product. And I think it's sort of everything old is new again, and we've moved back to that design-led component as well. I think the third thing has been, as they've arrived, we've seen the customer become less loyal, and so they're happy to flirt into H&M and buy a top in H&M, and then go to Zara and buy a bottom, and come to Myer and perhaps buy hosiery or buy a fascinator or a hat. So no more have you got the one-stop shop. You've got people now being able to go anywhere from online to in-store to purchase. So all that's changed. For us, it's about, it used to be the common denominators in retail were price, were certainly your people, and certainly I'd add to that the fact that you need to have a good service etiquette. They're actually now mandatory points of entry. You know, they're not your common denominators or differentiators anymore. Everybody's got to do that. You've got to be competitive on price. You've got to have very, very good service. And I think what's now happening is we're seeing the common denominators as such things as loyalty and the use of loyalty program and data mining. I think certainly we're seeing product differentiation of products that we sell that no one else sells. And you see Coles and Woolies hell-bent in that area, Myer, and now David Jones Woolworths doing the same thing with exclusive lines. So we're seeing more and more of that exclusive look coming out. And I think the third and final aspect is the advent of omni-channel and being able to touch the customer no matter whether it's online, in-store, or a combination in a seamless way. And I think those are the differentiators now rather than the traditional differentiators, and very evidenced when you see the success of, say, H&M in the middle of the mall in Melbourne.
Please put up your questions, put up your hands, I should say, for your questions. But following on from that, Bernie, is it I find interesting with these international retailers and the growth of the internet and so on, is it an advertisement for the importance of still having a bricks and mortar presence, that the Zaras and the H&Ms and so on don't just try and push that online platform, but they feel the need to be setting up in the Burke Streets and the Pitt Street malls and so on? Is it an advertisement that traditional retailing is still very, very important as part of that broader mix?
Yeah, it's an astute comment. I think it's a bit of both, because the reason H&M want a dozen stores in Australia is as much about building their online business. And you know, once you've got a bricks and mortar offer, and whether it's a flagship CBD store, you build up trust, you build up recognition, people are more comfortable with buying the product online. So to some extent, the stores that arrive in Australia as flagship stores, you know, they won't go to Townsville, they won't go to Mackay, you won't see them in Warrnambool, but you will see them in those CBD locations because it builds up trust. And they pay quite high rents, and they're quite willing to make little profit out of a flagship store, but they do it on the basis of building their online business. And the online business is certainly the only big opportunity for comp sales growth in most retailers at the moment. I mean, flat is probably the new black in most retailers, and we're seeing flat in bricks and mortar as a very, very good result. And if you look at overseas, of John Lewis, Nordstrom's, if you look at most of the Tesco, Asda's, etc., their growth is all coming out of online. And I think quite simply, if you can hold your bricks and mortar business flat, it's still a very big business. But don't underestimate the number of people that use bricks and mortar as a sounding board to then go and buy online. And so you need both. I think pure play operators, there's death knell bells ringing all over the place for pure play operators. What we're now seeing is the advent of fully integrated retailers take preeminent positions, and a stake or raising a claim for being an omni-channel retailer is meaning big investment for people like David Jones, Myer, Woolies and Coles.